Yes, hello. This is Todd Kaeb, and I'm with igse and with KSI Conveyors, and I appreciate initially to be on here with the Ag Career Corner, and I'm from Cissna Park, Illinois. I'll give you a little history about myself, and um, I got a ag retail business and a business in um, manufacturing of KSI conveyors. And a little bit of history. I grew up in Cissna Park, Illinois, here right in Cissna, and graduated here in Cissna Park. Was in FFA for 4 years. I have 7 kids at home, and got out of school and was going to go to UTI in Chicago. Give you a little history about my background. I ended up going to Oregon for a year um, to work out there, and then my dad got caught in a farm accident, and he cut off part of his hand right here. So then that sent me back home to help finish up farming, and then I got an offer to start in business with my brother. And I was 22, he was 25. Nonetheless, at that point, then I did not go um, to UTI. Just came back and helped farm and started in business. We bought out a small ag business, grain handling business in Cissna here. And my brother Les and I was 22, he was 25. And we really felt like that's what we wanted to do. We always had a desire to serve people. And that was a dairy equipment and grain handling equipment at that time. So that's who I am. Give you a little bit of history. I'll kind of go into some of the details a little bit later. I want to welcome everybody here to the Ag Career Day. And I love questions, so be sure and ask any questions that you have, and I will try to answer them as good as I can. And so a little bit about that. We started in business. That was in 1992. It's an entrepreneurial business, so I'm going to come from this from the perspective of a business startup or business owner. That's what we started. We started with one employee at that time in 92. We were into selling dairy equipment and grain handling equipment. Right away, I learned that you have to surround yourself with really good people and get advice from a lot of people and learn. One thing we really had was we wanted to learn from those around us. And also I wanted to I learned that to be committed to employees, and that a business is only as good as the people that work in the business. So we wanted to take a thought process of developing people. That was really important. We can build a lot of widgets, and we can build a lot of things. We can build a lot of grain bins, but really it's about developing our business. So some of the favorite things about my job, there's a question that just came in, what is the favorite part of your job? My job is leadership and flexibility. I'm talking about this from a role where I'm currently at. We've been in business 27 years. I like the idea that I have a lot of flexibility, but that comes with responsibility. And I really enjoy building relationships with people. I really enjoy working with people and serving customers, taking the demand from a customer or a request from a customer that has a challenge, whether it's manufacturing a piece of equipment that they need, or it's a grain bin that needs to be built, or a challenge that they have, and saying, okay, this is a solution for you, and this is what you need to this is what we feel like, based upon our experience, is a good thing to do. So from that aspect, where I'm set, it's really important to continue to always have the customer in mind, and what are their needs, and can we provide needs for them? That's one of the things that's really, really important. One of the challenges of that is we have a lot of responsibility. I have to continually look at what's the experience of our personnel, what's the experience of our people, and can we provide a solution for people that it makes sense for the customer. and will the customer be satisfied? So from that perspective, I really enjoy that challenge. I really enjoy that opportunity. Um, what's a typical day? A typical work day for me would be that I have to sit and look at the flexibility, uh, check my emails, get ready for any conference calls that come on. We have a lot of meetings, whether it's in product development or it's in scheduling, guidance to leaders of the company, take phone calls, put out if there's any challenges, and also look at from a long range standpoint. What do we need to do long to think long range, and what's it look like 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now? That's what I do. Um, Another question just came in. What type of training or education do you need to work in your business? Well, in our business, we like people to have at least an associate's degree, depending on what the job is. So obviously, we have an engineering department, and inside that engineering department, then that's one thing. We have people that are degreed engineers, and we have people that just are, say, they do CAD drawings. We have a sales department. Some people come to us with a lot of sales training, some with sales skill sets that are natural, some people that have a degree in that. So generally speaking, we like the people to have at least an associate's degree. Not always, but generally that's what we like to have. And then like our CFO, of course, he's a CPA. We have people in the marketing that have marketing degrees. So another question that came up just came in from Andrew. Andrew, thank you for that. What steps did you take education-wise to get where you are today as an entrepreneur? So I didn't go to college. As I stated earlier, I started right in business at 22. And so my learning came much more from going to learning centers, going to Dale Carnegie courses, going to sales courses, going to a lot of our manufacturers have training, on-site training. So I've traveled all over the place for training up in Canada and lots of places in the U.S. on training. If people, like on our CAD programs, if we needed people in the CAD department, I first learned how to do that CAD programming myself. So a lot of my education came from what's the need inside of the business today? Do I have the ability to learn that? And how do I go about doing that? Or do we hire people that are skilled in that? So that's some of the steps. For me as an entrepreneur, a lot of it is learning as the demand arises. And it can be a challenge. It's not always easy. When you're looking at aspects of, I'm trying to learn how to do this. I'm also figuring out how to do payroll. I'm also figuring out the vision for the company. We're taking and doing quotes for people. We're going out, we're making sure the customer's satisfied. So a lot of my training came from on job, on site. At this point, how do we look at training going forward? We look at the position in the job and the requirements and the demand. So in other words, as I said earlier, your finance people will have a minimum of an associates in finance or business management, and engineering will have a degree in engineering, or some of our salespeople. And then we have a fair amount of people that maybe haven't gone to college or even going to college. We have a fair amount of that where people come, they work for us, and at the same time they're going to college and they're getting a degree in something. And that's a really good onboarding process for a business, is to start working for somebody while you're in college. And once you're in college, you build that relationship. Sometimes that can also help you get a direction if you don't for sure have one yet, is what's the opportunity look like on that. So as you work for people in college or in high school, sometimes that also helps set a path for what do I want to do when I get out. So another question come in here: where do you see growth jobs in the ag industry? I'm really excited about the ag industry right now. I feel like there's a lots of potential in the growth. Some of those places are going to be of course, engineering, a huge demand for engineering. There's a huge demand for technology, for people that come out of school, come out of college with a technology degree. One of the things in the ag field that's really, really prevalent right now is data collection, data management, GPS. How do we take data that we are currently gathering, and how does that apply in the field, and how can we put that down into the hands of the grower or the farmer or the customer, and how does that become useful information? So there's a real demand for technology in the ag sector right now, and people that are willing to get in, willing to learn the technology and get degreed in the technology. So I see a lot of demand in that. And then you get down to some other areas where just plain welders are really to get a degree in welding is really important right now. Welders are hard to find. So those are kind of places that you can see. And most importantly, of all of those, leadership is absolutely key. If we continue to look at, what are some of the things that we look for in people, or some of the qualities that we really want to look for, leadership is very, very important. It's hard to it's hard to find that in some ways without some sort of training or skill set for people to step up. So my point with that is, when I encourage everybody that is there and is considering what they're wanting to do in the future, one of the things is, how can I be a leader? In whatever I do, how can I be a leader? When there's a group of people that are together saying, what do we do? Who's the person that's going to stand up and say, I think that we need to do this? Not always right, but that leadership is really important. And that is in the growth. I think there's a need for that in the ag industry. So I'm Todd. I guess I'll introduce a little bit for people that maybe are coming online right now. I'm Todd Kaeb with KSI Conveyors and Illinois Grain and Seed, or igse. We're in the grain handling business, and we're also in the KSI manufacturing business. So I'll touch on that a little bit. We were in the retail business, and then in 2001, I got a patent on a belt conveyor, which launched us into another business called KSI Conveyors. And that now is a pure manufacturing business, to where we manufacture seed conveyors for the seed industry. And we have a location here in Cissna. We have a location in Kansas, which gives us a lot of opportunity. It gives us a lot of flexibility. And so we're out traveling in about 40 states probably. That's what we do. So there's a lot of demand for different types of jobs. If a person wants to go out and see the world, the country. We have some, for instance, I'll give you an example there, where we have people that are going out and designing software for our treating systems in the field, and then they will go out and they'll work with the customer on that software. It's a very good job. It's a way to see a lot of the world, and so those are some of the things we're doing, all the way down to manufacturing. Some of the advice I have if you're interested into a career. I don't know where you're going. One thing, I think it takes a while to sort through that, but when you do, I think it's important to take leadership seriously and always be learn from those around you, and commit to the future. I think it's important. What do I want to do? One of my sayings is, if you love what you do, you never go to work. And that's something that I tried to live by, and that's really important to get established. It's just really important, I feel, from our perspective. So, what some additional advice of interested in a career? I think some of that is to look and see. I think it's important to ask other people, your guidance counselors, or ask a mentor, I think it's really important as to look and see as a mentor, what are some opportunities or what talents do you see in me that I would maybe be good at? So as a young adult, I think it's important to ask those questions, or what do I really love to do? Or why do I love to do that? Or where do I want to be in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years? And job shadow. I think job shadowing is really important. One of the things we try to do here in our business is, if you're interested in something, watch us work, follow people around, go spend some time with some people, ask questions. Those things are very, very important in in trying to continue to sort through what you want to do, or what I want to do. I think even as a leader, I'll tell you, as a leader, that we have to ask those questions all the time. What are we good at? Why are we good at? How do we motivate in a way that's positive? How do we create a service for a customer that has value? One of the things that that we've had hanging on our wall for years inside of our business, and yeah, I'll even tell you this, it was in the bathroom of our business. So every time a person went into the restroom to use the facility, there was a sign hanging there, and it said, rather than become a person of success, become a person of value. And I think that's important as we navigate our job. So where can I become a value in my role? What kind of job do I want to do that I can become a value in it? And I think that's an important one to ask ourselves, that exact thing. So any other questions? I'm just kind of looking at the questions as they come through here. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I'm interested in anything that people would be interested. Like I say again, for anybody that's coming on, I'm Todd Kaeb from KSI Conveyors in igse in Cissna Park, Illinois. Some of the things, one thing I will add is that the ag industry, I'm going to go back to it because I'm super excited about the ag industry, is that, there's a certain sector and responsibility, and in a sense, it's a calling to whether it's raising crops, raising cattle, putting on fertilizer, manufacturing something, servicing in a way that serves others. The ag industry, I think, is extremely valuable. We're called. I feel like we talk a lot in our business is whether we're pouring concrete or we're building a conveyor. How do we help feed people? What's our cause? Are we doing this for the purpose and the sake of others? And what's that look like? And how do we do that? So those are some thoughts I have. The one of the couple things I'd like to end with you is that to remember to be confident in yourself and just trust in your judgment, and ask others and seek people's advice out, and don't ever be scared to ask other people how to help you navigate that. So if there's no other questions that come through, I thank you for this time, and God bless.